Alright everyone, how would you like a white pill this morning? Link in the description, archived of course. The Legacymedia is beginning to panic, both about the two Supreme Court cases with regards to government coercion, as well as the successful campaign against the government's disinformation, which is labeled as an attack on the fight against disinformation by the powers that be. When they say that they want to fight misinfo or something like that, what they really mean is that they want to propagandize to the public unchallenged. They want to control the flow of information. This is literally at the crux of the current case that Katanji blundered into the other day with regards to the government somehow having free speech. Yeah, government officials are allowed to speak, but they're not allowed to literally threaten private companies or insinuate a threat of possible persecution should they not toe the line. That's basically at the crux of the Missouri case and the NRA's case, but it's been spun into all disregard for accuracy. Not just this. We'll be talking the live stream tomorrow about the SCOTUS cases there, and some of the write-ups that I'm seeing are hilarious. It's like again, it's a form of doublespeak. It's literally like something straight out of 1984. The white pill, though, is that they're losing, and they're aware of the fact that they're losing. They're failing and they're flailing, and that's why they're lashing out so much. New tech continues to rise up. New media continues to rise up. Legacymedia is in a tailspin, and missing link media is doing even worse. The old school propagandists have lost control of the narrative, which is why right now they're trying to form another defensive perimeter around AI by convincing the public that it's going to be dangerous. The Chinese will get you if we don't have a government monopoly, or a pseudo-monopoly rather, a fascistic sort of arrangement with a handful of mega corporations that donate to us politically, controlling artificial intelligence. We also must control social media, so give us control of TikTok as well. Yeah, because, 30-second clips of people being cringe, they're going to destroy democracy. You remember when they tried to do this to the early wave of social media on the internet? Some of you might be too young to really remember this. They did the same shit to YouTube back in the day. The real problem is that once YouTube began being coerced by the government, it started becoming more censorious, and now the site has half the functions that it really should. You used to be able to do all sorts of fun stuff on YouTube that you can't do now. The same is true of sites like Facebook. Facebook, before the overhaul around, 2010 or thereabouts, was wicked fun. Yeah, it was a great site. You could make like little stickers on the side and shit like that, and it operated a little bit more like MySpace. It was infinitely more customizable. YouTube used to have modules on your goddamn channel page. You used to be able to drag, like you could put the comments on the side, you could put them down below, you could arrange the way that it looked pretty much with impunity. And it was fun as fuck. Let me tell you, I'm glad we no longer have a 5-minute loading time for a 10-second video, but other than that, things have generally regressed. You can't find any of the fun shit anymore. Try finding obscure music on YouTube. It ain't there. It's half of it's not even searchable. You can look up the song names verbatim. Anyway, getting off of that. The white pill is that old guard mentality is beginning to die. The reason why they're being so vocal about it, you see all of these media stink pieces about Rumble or BitChute and Substack as well, I suppose, and etc. The reason why you see so much bitching about the uprising of AI, the reason why you see so much bitching about the evil populists defeating our efforts to fight disinfo, is because they simply want to make money controlling the narrative. They want their monopoly. Legacymedia, of course, if you run a corporation, you want to make money, you want to grow and thrive and have more of a market share, etc., etc. It's just in their own self-interest. They're being egotistical and selfish. The problem is that in this particular case, with social media and platforming and the Section 230 and all of these intertwined things, the real problem is that it hazards the ability of the public to freely express themselves. When you say that it's in the best interest of the nation that we shut down certain kinds of speech, and the government is just trying to inform people, it's coercion. It really is. When the government is granting, literally making grants and shit, and contracts with a company, and then it comes in behind closed doors and basically mafiosos them and says, well, it'd be a shame if your kneecap was broken now, wouldn't it? Well, I mean, if you were to do X, Y, and Z, you wouldn't have to worry about that too much. It's illegal. It's been illegal this entire time. It's just that we had to publicly expose it in order to get these cases going. The legacy media is really pissed about it, about the rise of independent journalism. I mean, they hate fucking people like me because without any overhead at all, I can appeal to an audience in the six-figure range. Well, that kind of makes them look bad now, doesn't it, when they have to spend $10 million fucking dollars an hour in order to produce their shows? And they quite literally, I mean, if you've got a mainline studio, and you've got the accountants and the lawyers and the highly paid pundits, etc., and to keep the lights on and everything else, and you've got the green room with the smoothie cooler and shit like that, yeah, it costs a lot of money now, doesn't it? This is why Missing Link Media had a problem. They effectively took the same formulaic approach as Legacy Media, only it was basically tech-based, but then the outgrowth of that was that they wanted to have all of the cozy amenities of a legacy media, just on a smaller scale. But then their audiences began to decline. That's why Vox and HuffPo and Salon and all these others keep laying people off. It's going to get down to the point where the real problem is going to be left-wing radicalism, because all of the more moderate networks will die. So something that's center-left won't be able to survive. It'll leave, like, the Daily Beast and Slate will be the only ones left, maybe, or something like that. They're hoping to cannibalize one another. By the way, every one of these networks hopes that all the others start dying off faster, so that they can at least maintain their market share. Now, what's really happening is that the U.S. government and other governments associated with them, in tandem with private corporations, in a heinous and fascistic manner, are trying to control our minds. So naturally, anything that attempts to seek to undo that mind control, to go against it in any way, is extremism. It's Russia, or it's the Chinese, or it's, extremism of one brand or another, whether it's domestic or foreign, makes no difference. I mean, we've seen this now for years, but they've been unsuccessful. There's the white pill. By and large, they've lost. They've failed to stop new tech from rising up. They failed to get rid of Gab. They failed to get rid of BitChute. They failed to get rid of Rumble. They failed to get rid of Substack. There were a million stink pieces about them years ago. They failed to get rid of many of us who make independent content in the analytics sense. We're all still here. So they've lost. We continue to grow. They continue to shrink. They're beginning to panic. And I love it. I mean, again, read the article. Is there any way other than reading into this as they're afraid? Like an it's afraid moment. Huzzah! No, not really. They can claim all they... I mean, you can also interpret it as well that, they're encouraging more censorship. Well, yeah, but I mean, they've been doing that the whole time, and it hasn't worked, so, I mean, I'm not too worried about these people. I think the future's so bright I don't need eyes to see it. Possibly because of nuclear clouds, and possibly because we win in the end. Of course, the eternal struggle continues. There will always be authoritarianism and censorship attempts and shit like that, and moral panics. That will never end. There will be many more of them in our lifetime. But at least this round, it looks like we've got the upper hand. And the public doesn't always have the upper hand when these moral panics, which is partially tied into this, about Disinfo and the Russians and stuff, we don't always gain the upper hand. Sometimes the public loses. Sometimes you end up with more draconian authoritarianism. This time, we're pushing back on a much more meaningful level than in many other periods of history, and it happens like once every 10 to 15 years. It's over and over again. I won't look like Gandalf the next time that there's a major push for authoritarianism and censorship. In other words, this one will go into a lull. It'll change form. The communists will rebrand their communism. So critical race theory will be quietly retired in favor of some other term. They tried to do that with DEI. It didn't go over so well. Again, even the wokeness, they're losing. Woke companies get successfully boycotted now. The populists in the population finally have found their testicles, it seems. That's about all. Peace out.